Hi, True Crime Grapevine fans. How you doing? Sorry, I'm a little out of focus there. That's better. I think you can see everything. All right, sorry. All right. Hi, True Crime Grapevine fans. Partners in crime. Partners in true crime. How you doing? This is case 3, and it is the craziest case. 3 is my lucky number. Moscow Mule is my drink of choice for tonight. I have a recipe in this case if you're interested in making one for yourself. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. You can make it without the vodka. Then it's a very refreshing lime and ginger spritzer. It's great. I love the copper cup. So this case, well, it started to explode now all over social media. I saw it on Twitter first, I believe, really quick. You know what got my attention? We were waiting for the Vallow verdict, and I saw something about a Mormon mom, a Utah mom. Have you seen the Utah mom, the Utah moms themselves? I guess they were all over TikTok. I saw it on people doing jokes about the Utah moms, and some of them themselves on Twitter shorts. That's what I saw. The Utah moms do tend to be Mormon moms, and because we just went through the Vallow case, there is so much to the background, and so much that I can't even tell you. But you know I'm going to try, but in a different upload. But that whole connection of Utah mom, Mormon mom, murder. I'm like, oh, look, we thought this was all over. No, we've got another alleged murder mom who's Mormon. What? Now you want to know, right? You might know the case I'm talking about because everybody now is talking about it. But I will tell you, I have been listening and reading all about this case so far. I am on top of it. I will fill you in, listeners. Meet our friend, Mormon Mom Kouri. Here's Kouri. Kouri Richins. Kouri spelled Kouri. Kouri Richins, let me just tell you, I got a little background tonight on Surviving the Survivor. I don't know if you watch it. Great little podcast. You know, like anything else, there's guests that I love more than others. But tonight, very interesting panel. The host, who used to work on Fox in some capacity, his mom is a Holocaust survivor, and that's why it's called Surviving the Survivor, because he's the son of a Holocaust survivor. Her name is Carmen, I believe, and she survived the Holocaust, became a therapist, like a clinical psychologist, just an amazing woman. I can't imagine surviving that. And then going on, I mean, that makes sense that she would want to help other people. But now she does true crime podcasts. But she, like myself, I'm an educational psychologist, so I'm interested in motivation, how people think, reason, or don't reason, problem solve well or not so well, right? I'm interested in what people's motivations are, how they think, why they do what they do. But as a clinical psychologist, she's very versed in why people get sort of messed up and how it leads them to act in ways that they need to see a therapist. So I really enjoy watching her. So they had a panel on tonight with the family spokesman of Eric. Eric is Kouri's husband. Eric unfortunately passed almost just over a year ago, last March of 2022. And you look at Eric and you're like, but he's young. He was young, and especially an in shape and active 39-year-old. He died after drinking a Moscow Mule. Now, dear listeners, before you ask, I made this myself, and you will find out why. Well, apparently, he had a celebratory Moscow Mule that she gave him in bed. And, you know, and then nighty night, honey, you drink that. And she went to sleep with a kid, is what she said. And then she woke up at 3 a.m. He had passed. And she did call 911, and, you know, they told her to give CPR, which she did. But he was cold to the touch, people. Sad. How did she ever get over that? Well, taking a page out of another Mormon mom, she had a party the next day at a mansion that she had purchased that she wanted to flip. She had a real estate license. It was her dream. Now it's unclear if the people knew. Yeah, and Eric was from this family, well respected. He was wealthy. I mean, she met him as she was working at at the local hardware store, and wow, happened to marry this really rich, eligible guy. He'd been married once before. I don't know what happened exactly. No kids from that marriage. But hey, isn't she lucky? This rich, well-to-do, from like the best family in the area. They are from the area called, it's not Karma. I want to call it Karma. I think it's Kama. I don't think it's Karma. Utah, which is right near Park City. The trial will, like all the legal stuff, is going to take place in the same courtroom that the Gwyneth Paltrow case, the very same courtroom in that area. Isn't that sort of weird? So hey, let's drink to that. Again, make your own, but here's to that's just a weird thing. So, and if you know, it's an area that is rural, but mountains, people vacation there. It's very nice. The Richin family is well known in the area. He was in business. He did very well. From a wealthy, well-to-do, respectful family, he did lots of philanthropy, and he had 3 boys with Kouri. Well, you know, Kouri's bereft. She's bereaved. Yes, she had a party the next day, because as one must, but yeah, she took that grief, and to help her kids, she wrote a book about grief. She did. You'll see in a second, because as one does, one needs to make money as a widow, and yeah. So this is Eric. I mean, look at him. He's not overweight. He doesn't look like he has health problems. He's got these 3 boys. His family, well known, wealthy, respected. As I said, he's known for his philanthropic work. Now, friends, this is the grapevine. I'm going to give you a little juicy scoop here of the gossip, but it was speculation that maybe she was in it for the money. Maybe she had someone on the side. Again, this is the tea that I am spilling. I'm not spelling it. I can spell tea. But as you will see, I mean, yes, they have 3 boys under 10. You'd think she must have loved him, right? I mean, but rumors fly. Now, was it because she wasn't good enough for Eric? Maybe sour grapes from past love? We don't know. I don't know. I'm not out in Utah. I live in the Great Lakes area. Pure Michigan, near the Ohio line. I don't know Utah people. I don't. I do know women. I mean, could she have been swayed by his money? I don't know. Let me just tell you, there were 2. Count them, 2. Before he died, previous incidences where he was supposedly poisoned by his wife. One was on a trip to Greece. I have to look more into that. The second, though, has been spoken about on a number of media sources. It was Valentine's Day, as one does for one's love. Let me poison you, right? I love you so much I have to kill you. I don't know. Apparently, Eric took a bite of a sandwich and immediately became violently ill, had a huge rash, like an anaphylactic shock, had enough presence of mind to grab his son an EpiPen, shoved that in, ate a handful of like Benadryl, and then after doing all that, he still, I believe, passed out. But and now I have to. The ending of that story doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, where are the authorities in this? I don't know what he's like. It doesn't, that neither of these incidences, him getting ill after her giving him something, seems to have done anything but did make him nervous around her. Now, I don't know if because they're Mormon, did he want to keep his marriage? He had 3 boys. The spokesman for the family did say yes. His family was very important to him. He was trying to get his ducks in a row. He was talking to people, and like Charles Vallow, he was making plans, the just-in-case plans, like taking her off the will. He also put his sister on the will instead. Insurance policy. Yeah, the one at work and their private changed those, took her off that. Now, what's interesting is there has been some forensic accounting evidence showing that she saw on the computer that she wasn't the beneficiary, and she somehow changed it and put her name back on. But as that happened, there was an alert, and he and his business partner saw, like, they were alerted, and so they're like, he's like, no, she's not my beneficiary. But it seems like she did not know that. Again, she and Lord Vallow, I don't know. What's with these Mormons' moms? You gotta know if you're the beneficiary before you pull the trigger. Dun-dun-dun. Or have somebody else do it if you're Lord Vallow. So, it is, and Carmen, Joel, on the Surviving the Survivor's mom, very same question I had is, why was he in the house with her if he told people, like his sister, if anything happens to me, it's her. Why was he still there? Again, not blaming the victim, but there's this thing where if you know somebody is trying to kill you. The other thing is, even if you wanted to be in the house, be with your kids, why wouldn't you sleep either in another room? Or at the very least, why would you take a drink or anything? If she's tried to actually poison him with food, why would you consume anything that person handed you? And not once, twice he's been sickened by her. Or he thought it was her. I mean, he did think it was her, according to other people. Maybe he was trying to tell himself not. Maybe he jokingly said. I don't know. Okay, so we have this strange synergy or, mirroring of sort of like the Lori Vallow case, with the person knows that they're targeted, they're concerned, they tell other people, they change their insurance. None of that saves him. So, number one, let me just tell you, she claimed she gave him this celebratory drink because they had closed on this great property and he died. Well, when they did the forensics, you know what was in the drink? Weird. 5 times a deadly amount of fentanyl pills. So let's see, if you're going to, and he was not a drug user. That's the thing, his family said. And even if you were a casual drug user, 5 times, like a handful of pills, seems to, he wasn't suicidal. Seems to overdo it. So here's my little thing about how you make a Moscow Mule. So you take your copper cup, you fill it full of ice, You put in 2 ounces of vodka. You put in a ½ ounce of lime juice. You put in, it's about half of a ginger beer. Now, I top it off with ginger ale to fill it up all the way. And then, garnish it with a lime. It's all good to go. And it's very refreshing. It is perfect. As you notice, though, in my list and telling you how to make a Moscow Mule, yeah, did you see fentanyl in there? No. 0 fentanyl in the traditional non-murder Moscow Mule. I don't know. The Mormon Murder Moscow Mule apparently has about 20 pills. But I highly recommend you leave that out because you don't want to go to jail. So was this, why? Again, we want to know why, right? I don't know. Being Mormon, did she just not want to get divorced? I don't know. This woman doesn't seem to be, she wasn't at temple every day. She didn't talk about religion. I don't think that is a factor. But she was into real estate, and the celebratory drink was on a house that she did not close on until after Eric, unfortunately, passed. Why? Well, he was not interested in buying this property. Can you see this property? This is not a bunch of condos altogether. This whole thing is one house. It is 2,200 square feet. 22,000 square feet. It came on 10 acres. She bought it. I mean, they were going to buy it. And of course, you know. And by the way, when she celebrated the next day, I mean, she didn't need a signature anymore. And she got the property. She had a party the next day at her new mansion. She just wanted to flip it. Interestingly enough, she had a flip from, I think it was 2020, and got sued because, you know, she did like cosmetics but left a bunch of, like there was mold and it wasn't done right. And you all know flipping horror stories, right? So she's also not, apparently, allegedly, just in my opinion, ethical in that way. But she wanted to take this huge mansion. She bought it for $2 million. At first she put it on the market in 2 weeks for $5 million, which would have made her double her money. Now, I think right now though, it's a pending sale around $3 million, I believe. So she still is making, you know, she bought it for $2 million. She's making $1 million. She didn't do anything. I don't know what she did to it in 2 weeks, but, so yeah, but she had, again, we're getting some, I said some LVD. We're getting some LVD vibes here with a party there the night after her husband was found dead. Can you say Charles Vallow's pool party, anybody? Yes. So it was at this house also that the illicit fentanyl transactions allegedly took place between Kouri and her dealer. And her dealer, I mean, if we can find a little shiny spot, even out, especially because it's out west. Yeah, she had a female drug dealer. It was a friend. It was a female. She said one of the things that brought her down was she said she wanted that Michael Jackson stuff. She wanted to give him propofol, which I don't know how even a drug dealer, I mean, is she going into hospitals? Because that's the stuff they give you when you have a procedure that knocks you out. I mean, it can depress your system and kill you like any anesthesia, but you don't just like take it. Anyways, apparently she told this woman who was her drug dealer, I don't know how much of a drug dealer, I mean, obviously she got her hands on fentanyl. She at first gave her oxy. She said she had a investor that had back problems, but you know, like she gave her a whole handful of fentanyl pills. I mean, we know that it kills, whatever. It's so ridiculous, but thank goodness the fentanyl dealer is talking, because she is the one that let them know that as she was buying Oxy, when she asked for these large amounts of different drugs, it all sort of lines up with when he got sick before and then this unfortunate event. So, what are the facts that look bad for Kouri in Eric's death? Well, let me tell you. 1, celebratory drink. Celebratory? There's nothing to celebrate yet. They hadn't bought the house. Oops. Of course, she could say, oh, but we were going to. Even though his relatives and partner and his business was like, he did not want to buy that property. He thought it was ridiculous. He didn't want to get involved in that. I mean, she's already made him sick on Valentine's Day enough that he almost died. He's looking to get out somehow. He's not looking to get into more financial problems with this woman. She said that she went to sleep, woke up at 3 a.m., but as we all know, people, your phones will tell the tale of what you are doing. Or if you just leave it and go commit a crime, it'll just sit there and it looks weird because usually you touch it, you open it. We know, don't try to commit crimes. So the phone showed her taking steps and going like, I don't know. She wasn't just in her bedroom with her son that she said it was sick or had a nightmare or whatever excuse she said. She was going back and forth somewhere in the house, like maybe, I don't know, checking to see the progress on her overdose victim. She said that she did CPR as requested. Again, we have shades of the Charles Vallow, Lori Daybell, Alex Cox poorly constructed story, which is she said, yeah, I did CPR. Well, when the EMT showed up, blood came out of his mouth, showing that the medics were the first to start CPR. Again, same as in Charles Vallow's case, you know that as they pumped, they saw blood coming out, and she and Lori and Alex had 0 on them, meaning they did not try CPR. She, first of all, he had way more fentanyl in his system than you would ever take to casually use drugs. And it wasn't like, I'm going to get high or even I want to knock myself out. This was, I'm going to kill myself, and that was not the intent. And besides him not being a drug user, the amount was like, this is going to kill you. And the fact, obviously, that she had tried before. Change up your methodology, sister. The paper trail related to his insurance and her trying to change it on the computer to get it back, and that he was alerted. And I guess there was other financial issues and the problems financing the house that she really wanted. And lastly, facts that look bad for Kouri. Number 1 fact, her drug dealing friend came forward who was ethical enough to go to the law enforcement after the death and showed that Kouri had bought the drugs, and that basically all those amounts, like I said, matched to the dates of, she started to notice. And obviously when he died, of course, would have been nice if she would have said something after the first 2 times. So she is charged with aggravated murder. So not just murder 1, but aggravated murder, meaning it is an enhanced charge. So in Utah, that will get you one of 3 things. Stupid people win stupid prizes. Oh, so if she is convicted, what is Kouri gonna win? She's gonna win the death penalty. She's gonna win life in prison, or she can win life in prison without any parole. So right now she remains in custody of the Summit County Sheriff's Department, awaiting her next court appearance. Her probable cause warrant, that's what everybody saw and is splashing all over like law and crime. And that's how everybody has it now. So you can get the probable cause warrant. As we know, that is one of the first things that the public sees in the record. So I have not checked yet, but if you are on Twitter, if you go to @ChasingPapers89, that's Big E, Eric, the docket, he usually, and I'm sure, like I said, I've been dealing with a kid who needed emergency help, broke her ankle. We've had to have surgery. It's been a time. She's doing well, but I haven't checked the docket, but I'm sure he's pulled this up. So he's got everything. That's a good follow on Twitter. So what else do we know? What else is she doing? The other thing, the first thing that everybody caught up on, and was the media hook, was, if you can see, there's this little like cartoon figure. It says, "Are you with me?" And I don't have the top part, but up here where you can't see, there's like an angel of this guy wearing a hat. Yeah, the angel is his dad, because that's her son. She wrote a book, and in fact, it was just published, and a month before she was arrested for her husband's murder, she was on like a morning show in Utah hawking this book, talking about how her husband had died unexpectedly. Yeah, she said unexpectedly. And she wanted